Hey guys, Heaffey here, brand main. So, little introduction, I'm Heaffey, I am a brand mid laner main, I'm diamond ranked, and this is my brand guide. It's been requested quite a bit by some of my subscribers, so I thought we'd give it a go. Just a little disclaimer, most of this is just my opinion and how I like to play brand. It sort of suits my play style. If you want to learn more about individual matchups, be sure to check out my brand V guide where I've got like 100 videos of me going from silver 5 to diamond. So be sure to check that out. Let's begin. So here's a little list of the things I hope to be covering today. If you want to see anything in particular, feel free to skip ahead, but we're going to start from the top. If you're going to play brand mid, you need to know what his pros and cons are. One of his biggest pros at the moment is he's not really a meta pick. That's not really a pro, but lots of people aren't used to playing against him, so that may give you a slight advantage. His biggest pro is he does a huge amount of damage to a team fight, AoE damage, which you can just keep applying. His other pros are lots of single target damage, and the fact is that he does a lot of burn damage after sort of you strike people with your skills, so they're not really expecting the sort of after damage, so you can quite easily disengage and pick up kills. Now for the cons, and these are pretty big. This is probably the reason he's not a meta champion. So Brand is completely immobile. He is really slow, and he's got no little darts or anything like that, so he can't just sort of jump around the map, and mobility is quite key to this meta at the moment. So that is a big con. It's one of the main reasons he isn't played. Another con is he's got two skill shots, so he's like Q and W. He's quite heavily reliant on skill shots, and if you're not good at skill shots, that can be a real pain. So these two cons are quite big, and you've really got to be quick reflexes to get around the whole mobility one. Because if you haven't got fast reflexes and you're not good at making decisions quickly, Brand probably isn't the champion for you. Also, he's got reasonably high cooldowns and expensive mana costs, so there are two things you sort of need to play around as well. The masteries aren't complicated, but I thought I'd include them anyway. You want a Deathfire Touch and a Cookie. Now skill leveling is quite an interesting one, because most brands seem to max Q second, but I really wouldn't recommend that at all. Obviously you max your W first, but you've got to ask yourself what you want. Q does scale slightly better, so if you do level Q, on a 1v1 you'll do slightly more damage, but you're an AoE champion, and in a team fight, your E can do loads of damage because it's bouncing between lots of different people. Also, it can help you farm and last hit, so your wave clearing will be a lot better. So I'm definitely recommending maxing W and E second. When it comes to runes, there isn't a correct answer. I think runes should definitely suit your playstyle. So before you just download some runes off Mobile or something, you need to question your playstyle. Ask yourself how you play and adapt your rune set to that. So I'm going to tell you what runes I'd always choose and sort of how that suits my playstyle. And if you you should feel free to adapt them to suit your individual playstyle, and that way it'll help you the most. I'm super aggressive and like to do a surprising amount of damage, but also I like to avoid taking damage in the first place, so I don't typically build any defensive runes. And I never buy mana regen items, so that's the reason for the runes I'm about to tell you. I always go M-Pen reds, because by the way, Brand scales way better with Magic Pen than he does ability power. So M-Pen reds and quints, ability power blues, and mana regen yellows. It's important to vary these runes because they don't suit every matchup. So if I'm against a really hard hitting mid laner that's really annoying like Lux, and they happen to have an AP jungle like Elise, I'm definitely happy to take Magic Resist blues. And apart from that, that's usually my two rune sets. I try not to deviate from that. Against AD champions like Zed or Yasuo, I don't take armor, because I feel if they get close enough to hit you, they're probably going to kill you, so it's better to just kill them first. That's kind of an arrogant way of playing, but it's my playstyle, and I can admit that. Next up we have playstyle, that's early, mid and late game. So early game is level 1 to 6, and this is like the harass stage, so you want to harass your opponent as much as you can. Typically you want W first because you're against ranged people, but if you're against a melee champion like Zed or Yasuo or Katarina, that's when you want to get your E first, so that the level 1 you can just keep poking it with them, just whittle their health down. And typically you want to get your Q second, so that if they jump on you, you can stun them, because most champions have a sort of jump, but if not, just sort of work out what you're most likely to land. Is it going to be your Q or your E? So whatever you're most likely to land level 2, that's probably what you should get, unless they can jump on you, where it's definitely Q. So during this time, between 1 and 6, you want to be farming as much as you can and mainly trying to get your passive off. If you can't get your passive off, don't take the fight. So especially for level 2, level 2 is a really weak time for Brand because there's just not a lot he can do. You can't get your passive off, so typically you'll always get out damaged. So just bear that in mind. Wait till you're level 3 before you go for any big engages. Because Brand is immobile, you've got to remember that sometimes running from a gank isn't always the best option. You've got to just stand and defend yourself because the CC may end up saving your life. So don't just run, try and drop your CC and escape that way. And a lot of the time it can work out and you can end up getting a kill instead. Just not in this example. Next up we have mid game. I'd say mid game is from the moment you've hit your ult, you've hit 6 and before the team fighting stage. Now your ult bounces between champions and minions, so you've got to go where the champions are. Bot lane there are always 2 champions, so it's the best place to go because it's the most likely place you are to get kills. So go bot. I nearly do this every single game. As soon as I get 6, I look for an opportunity bot lane to see if there's anything I can do. Not only does this often result in kills, but it helps my team, it helps bot lane get going, and quite often after it we can push for an objective, or it's just generally an all-round good thing to do because it really helps the team. So in late game and team fights, you typically want to be stood near the back of the team fight, trying to get as many of your passives off as you can. So your passive is your main source of damage, just because it's massive AoE explosion in a team fight. It can be huge, so you want to get that off as much as you can, so stay at the back. You've got quite long cooldowns as well, so once you've done your stuff, get out and just wait for them to come back and then sort of go back in. So you can spend a lot of time working on your positioning, and obviously you want to get your ult bouncing as many times as you can, so that's like a big priority. Try and save your ult for an opportunity when you know it'll get some good bounces. When it comes to building Brand, you've got to remember you scale way better with Magic Pen than you do with Ability Power. So you want to prioritise the Liandry's Torment and the Riley's Crystal Scepter. You want to combine these items together because it means that the burn damage of Liandry's is doubled because of the slow effect from the Riley's. So you end up doing such a huge amount of burn damage just after you've walked away and done your skill shot. So people will often be caught out with the sheer amount of damage that comes after you've just landed one ability. Then you want to get a more situational item, so this is quite often the Hourglass, or you might want to get something like an early Void Star straight away. But again, like runes, you need to change it up a bit. Do not stick to this build every game. This is like your core build. If they've got a Soraka on team, you need Morella Mollicom. You need to sort of get some Grievous Wound, especially if they've got a Soraka or like a Mundo as well. If they've got a Zed mid, Hourglass early is a good thing, especially if you struggle against Zed. You need to rush that Hourglass, so change your build to suit the game. When it comes to Brand support, just have a quick look at my score. Yep, this isn't the place for Brand support advice, unfortunately. I try it, works sometimes just because I play like a mid laner, but no, I can't deal with the lack of damage. Wrong place, sorry. Some cool things you can do with Brand: if you're on low health and you want to get a cheeky kill and your opponent's next to some minions, you can literally throw your ultimate at a minion and get a couple of cheeky bounces. Not only does this always catch your opponent off guard, but it looks pretty cool as well. Another cool thing you can do with Brand is when you've got Ignite, you can sort of damage them, throw your Ignite on them right as they're about to flash away. People usually flash when they've got about a quarter health left, and this always catches people off guard because they're not expecting the damage after they flashed away. Another cool trick you can do is extend your range. People don't expect this one. If a minion's on fire, you cast your E on it, it's effectively extending your range and you can catch people off guard. So if your minion's on fire, just put an E on it when the opponent's near, then you can catch them for some free grabs. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. Let me know what you think in the comment section, even if you didn't like it. All feedback's welcome. If you want more Brand advice, you can always check out the Burn and Vengeance subreddit on Reddit. That's always good. Or you can ask me in the comment section. I reply to most comments. Also, you can watch my playlist, the Brand V. There's like 100 videos there about individual matchups where I try to give advice of what it's like against individual champions. Or if you just like watching the videos, they're quite a bit of fun, a lot of them. So be sure to check them out and let me know what you think. Good luck in the league. Seraph. I hope you had fun. I hope you liked skiing, and good luck in the league. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button.